The old-fashioned frugal life was a lifestyle that emphasized simplicity, self-sufficiency, and thriftiness. People lived in a way that was more focused on their needs than on their wants and lived within their means. They lived in smaller homes, grew their own food, made their own clothes, and repaired things instead of buying new ones. This lifestyle was often adopted out of necessity, as people did not have access to the same resources and luxuries that are available today. However, many people also chose to live frugally because they valued a more meaningful and sustainable way of life. They enjoyed the satisfaction of creating something with their own hands and being in control of their own resources. Frugality involved being mindful of one's spending and making choices that were both practical and economical. For example, people would buy items in bulk to save money, and they would look for ways to recycle and repurpose items that would otherwise be thrown away. They would also prioritize spending on necessities like food and clothing, and put aside money for savings and emergencies. The old-fashioned frugal lifestyle was also about community and interdependence. People lived in close-knit communities and helped one another, sharing resources and skills. This allowed them to live a more self-sufficient life and reduce the need for outside assistance. In addition to being practical, frugal living was also about simplicity and finding joy in the small things in life. People focused on spending time with family and friends, enjoying nature, and pursuing hobbies and interests. They did not place a high value on material possessions and found happiness in the things that truly mattered. I was one of those lucky kids whose grandparents were always present in my life. My brothers and I visited them at least once a week, and we often spent the night. Little did I know at the time, my childhood brain was soaking up subtle messages about money that I'd benefit from later in life. There were many mornings at Grandma's house when I awoke to birds singing from the trees near the open bedroom window. It was a peaceful awakening, unlike the jarring buzzers and alarms that jolt me from sleep as an adult. One such morning, I padded barefoot down the hallway into the kitchen, where my grandma was preparing bowls of oatmeal for me and my two brothers. Our meal came from a big cardboard canister, not expensive single-portion packets. I thought nothing of the price of oatmeal that day, having no idea that the grain she mixed with butter, milk, and sugar for my breakfast cost next to nothing. It's probably the feeling of safety, security, and love I felt that morning that keeps the memory so vivid decades later. However, the oatmeal lesson wasn't completely lost on me either. When money's tight, oatmeal is still one of my go-to foods for breakfast. Maybe you learned some frugal living tips from your own grandparents, but even if your grandma was a hard-drinking gambler who declared bankruptcy, you can still benefit from my grandmother's wisdom. Number 1. Beans go a long, long way. My grandma, who grew up poor in the South and had to use food ration coupons during World War II, knew how to make food stretch. She always had a big pot of bean soup and cornbread on hand, which can get you through a lean week without sacrificing protein. With every batch, dish out portions to freeze for later. Number 2. Scan the weekly grocery ads. Grandma was always on the lookout for a good sale. That's why she perused the daily newspaper's food section on a regular basis. I do the same thing now, saving at least $20 a week on my grocery bill with meat and produce sales and coupons. Number 3. Earn cash with a side hustle. My grandma had a side hustle before side hustles were cool. My grandfather worked, but Grandma tacked babysitting flyers up on grocery store and laundromat bulletin boards for some cash of her own. Over the years, she saved babysitting money for holiday presents, pricey appliances, vacations, and anything else she needed. Number 4. Check out the clearance rack. Grandma worked hard for that babysitting money, and she knew it would go a lot further if she waited until clothing or other items went on sale. Now that trait is ingrained in both me and my mom, who bought me one of my favorite shirts for $1 off the clearance table at a department store. Number 5. Find out what's in that junky-looking store. Grandma loved to shop at a little store that sold unclaimed freight, a bunch of stuff that got rejected or lost and spilled into the aisles of mom-and-pop place on the sketchy side of town. You can find household items like toiletries, appliances, toys, and even food for slashed prices at little out-of-the-way places. Number 6, grow your own veggies. Maybe it's the southern roots, but both sets of grandparents had gardens where they grew green beans, tomatoes, corn, cucumbers, strawberries, you name it. Then grandma would can and freeze much of it for future use. Do I do all that? No. But I do have 2 cherry tomato plants that I bought on sale at Lowe's this spring, thriving on my patio this summer to help save money on salads. Number 7, weekly meal prep is smart. My grandparents' refrigerator was consistently crammed with food. I could always grab a piece of chicken, a bit of salad or coleslaw, a boiled egg, or even just a slice of lunch meat. Taking time to prepare a week's worth of food to have on hand keeps you from spending money on fast food and takeout meals when you don't have time to cook. Meal prep also reduces food waste. Call her what you will, Grandma, Nana, Grammy, or Mama. The elder that spoiled you knows a thing or two about stretching a dollar. So get your vintage on and shop like Grandma. Just don't hold up the cashier's line by writing a check.